Since Hollywood Boulevard is one of the most iconic streets in the world, there is no actual complete list of events that happen on this street. Let me give you some other highlights that are connected to the boulevard. The Roosevelt Hotel. Opened in 1927, the hotel was named after Theodore Roosevelt and was founded by Douglas Fairbanks, L.B. Mayer, Mary Pickford, and Sid Grauman. The first Academy Awards ceremony took place in the ballroom in 1929. The ceremony was less than 20 minutes long, with Douglas Fairbanks hosting. He presented the Best Actress Oscar to Janet Gaynor. Wings was the first film to win for Best Picture. The Roosevelt was visited by some of the most famous celebrities, including Charlie Chaplin, Montgomeryclift, Clark Gable, and Walt Disney. The Hollywood Chamber of Commerce celebrated Grauman's life with a memorial banquet in the ballroom.
To Sidgrauman, master showman, will raise the standard of exhibition of motion pictures. We all love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to say, only that when I have my 35th birthday, I'll look back and say they didn't forget me.
How did you get that scar?
Car accident.
I just wondered. Scar could look interesting on some people.
And look what we see ahead. White's the Roosevelt Hotel. In 1935, the souvenir shop was transformed into the Cinegrill, which introduced a nightlife to the hotel. Marilyn Monroe did her first commercial photography job by the pool, and she would love to hang out in the lobby. It started to lose its reputation as a glamorous hotel in the 60s, and it wasn't until the 80s where they renovated it to become a Hollywood landmark. The Pignwhistle was another interesting location, where it was founded by John Gage. With an original opening in downtown Los Angeles, it became famous with the opening of the Hollywood location in 1927. It was frequented by many celebrities, including Spencer Tracy, Shirley Temple, and Howard Hughes. The beautiful candy shop, ice cream parlor, and restaurant entertained their guests, with an organ with a beautiful atmosphere. This became a popular eating spot, especially after screenings at the Egyptian Theater. One interesting publicity stunt the restaurant did was having a cage of monkeys, which will stop people to check out the restaurant. Unfortunately, the restaurant started suffering and closed in 1953. The interiors were sold off, and the owner of Michelli's decided to save the beautiful carved wood and decorate the restaurant with it.
In your restaurant?
It's all here. That's
So
all.
all of this wood.
Yes.
This.
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 That. The chandeliers.
All of it.
All of it.
How in the world did you get...
Well, they were demolishing it. And I happened to walk by, so I made a deal with the demolisher.
When was this?
Oh, 1956, I guess, 57.
You mean they were after the... Oh, look at this.
Something?
These are
They don't make them like that anymore.
all the way down. And the bar?
And the doors. This is it. This is a Pignwhistle. Where is he? Right here. You like that guy?
Oh, look, right on the side of the phone booth.
There's something.
Oh, my gosh. This is absolutely amazing.
It was eventually changed into a pizza restaurant called Numero Uno until the late 90s, where it changed ownership and became the Pig and Whistle once again. What was interesting is that the tiles that decorate the outside and some of the tables were stored in the basement. Morgan, Wallace, and Clemens, the architects who made special tiles to decorate the Adamson house in Malibu, made custom tiles for the restaurant. In 2021, it was announced that the restaurant was suffering during the 2020 pandemic, which resulted in another company buying it and becoming another cantina. Despite a notice from the city to stop construction, it still continued. What do you expect from a city that doesn't really care for its history? The Elcapitan Theater, opened in 1926, was famous for housing play productions. When that was not financially stable during the Depression, they started showing films. The theater famously premiered Orson Welles' Citizenkane after being boycotted at other theaters. The theater then closed for 1 year and became the Paramount Theater after the movie studio acquired it. The theater then had to be sold because the movie theater monopoly, which resulted in the theater being shifted between different owners until the late 80s, Disney acquired it and turned it back to the Elcapitan theater. When they premiered Toy Story in the mid-90s, they used the neighboring Masonic temple, which they would eventually acquire, which is now host of the filming of the Jimmy Kimmel Show. Before the Masonic temple was a Hollywood lodge for Masons. Opened in 1922, they used this lodge as a regular meeting place, and even celebrities like Harold Lloyd and John Wayne were Masons. In 1923, a grand ballroom opened, which would host many dances. Because of the Depression, they were forced to rent out their interiors for events. Eventually, it was sold to a singer who wanted to use it for operas, but that wasn't successful, so it went back to hosting pop-ups. In 1948, actor Donald Crisp organized the funeral of dwgriffith here. A bunch of autograph seekers and random teenagers treated the event as if it was a movie premiere, rather than celebrating an innovative director. There is a rumor that Graumanschinesetheater had a secret tunnel underneath where celebrities can escape freely to any events being held at the Masonic Temple. With a new owner, they have restored the building and it's home to the filming of the Jimmy Kimmel talk show. At least Disney was able to save these timeless buildings. Speaking of Disney, a little restaurant named the Snowwhite Cafe, which actually has some original murals from painters of the film, still reside within the cafe's walls. Strolling the streets can be neat, especially if you see the Marx Brothers going to get their handprints. On the day of their ceremony, they wore kilts to comically protest women's use of slacks. Back then, it was rare when a woman would wear anything but dresses in public. I thought it would be nice to top it off with the Christmas parade Hollywood Boulevard holds every year. It all started with the pignwhistle and the neighboring stores, as they wanted to decorate for Christmas time to attract more customers. This eventually evolved into Otto K. Orson starting to light up the streets of Hollywood with extra lights to celebrate the season. Olsen eventually publicized for an actress to turn on the lights to Santa Claus Lane. The first parade started in 1931. This eventually expanded to people making floats and celebrities showcasing their cars and school bands performing Christmas songs. In the 1940s, cowboy star Jeanhersholt heard children yelling, "Here comes Santa Claus," one year, and turned the parade, which gave him inspiration to write his famous song, "Here Comes Santa Claus." It still serves as a Hollywood tradition, where they block off portions of the street for spectators just to celebrate the season of joy. Up on Hollywood Boulevard in Vermont, in 1914, famous actress Dorothygish suffered a car accident from a racing automobile as she was walking across the street with her sister Lillian. Spectators included D.W. Griffith, who rushed to her aid and accompanied her to the hospital. According to the LA Times, Miss Dorothygish was picked up unconscious. She was taken to the office of Dr. Tryon at number 4767 Hollywood Boulevard, where her injuries consisted of a crushed right foot, a deep cut in the right side, and bruises on all parts of her body. The automobile that ran her down is owned by T.B. Loreno of number 6636 Selma Avenue, also of Moving Picture Game. Even then you had to take caution of the boulevard. Next time you walk down, just think twice of who has been on this iconic street.
The excitement of the late hour. One sees desire take hold in the faces of teenagers as the Hollywood dream replenishes itself. Hollywood is a town in transition, but its change is toward the conservative, the metropolitan. Hollywood promises to become part of another super city, like a lot of super cities in America. But the dream persists that there is still magic here. At night, from a high building or hilltop, when the lights of the city are like beacons down below, the dream persists.